happening right now, and it is a battle to watch. Multiple states and some U.S. cities suing the President of the United States over his executive order ending something called birthright citizenship. Their argument, a person born in the United States is a citizen of the United States, and it's long been protected under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. So a hearing just got underway moments ago in a Seattle federal courtroom challenging that executive order. So we are watching what happens there. But to go deeper on what is happening in that courtroom and the issue at large, let's go to immigration attorney Margaret Stock. Margaret, I'm also fascinated to get your perspective as a retired U.S. Army lieutenant colonel. What do we expect from that hearing today?
Well, we should hear pretty quickly whether the executive order is going to be paused while the judge considers the legal issues underlying the arguments. So we should know that pretty quickly.
So the arguments get made to
restraining orders.
The arguments get made and it's either paused or it's not. If it's paused, you say restraining orders?
Yeah, they'll issue a temporary restraining order, and then eventually they may issue an injunction and a permanent injunction, and it's likely to be a nationwide or a universal injunction.
You know, when you make an argument that's based on the contents of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, one would think that you have a pretty strong argument. As somebody who argues these cases and looks at these cases, how are you going to call this at this hour?
I'm calling it for the plaintiffs. The executive order, first of all, it's very badly drafted. It looks like somebody who wasn't an attorney or didn't know anything about constitutional law drafted it. It's very poorly drafted, and the president just doesn't have power to change the Constitution or a constitutional amendment. He never had that power, and the plaintiffs said it pretty well in the complaint. They lay that out. They go, the president doesn't have the power to change the Constitution on his own. He just can't do that. And this has been the law of the land. It's actually been the law of the land since the founding of our country, but it was put in writing in the Constitution in the 14th Amendment.
So what would have to change? What would have to happen to change the 14th Amendment? Because I can imagine if Donald Trump has a loss in court today, like you say, if those restraining orders happen, he's going to want to push against the powers that are holding him back.
Well, he's been claiming he's going to do this to the people that support him, and so he has to feed them something to carry out his promise. But the executive order is not a serious order. It actually doesn't define who's a citizen or not in it. It just gives a couple of examples of people that he thinks aren't citizens. And if you go back and look at the history of this argument, basically Donald Trump himself is not a citizen under the theory that the folks have of the 14th Amendment. So they're not serious about this because they'd be taking citizenship away from millions of American citizens, including Marco Rubio and Donald Trump and Nikki Haley and a whole bunch of other people. So to me, it's what we used to call in the Army a dog and pony show for people.
So you are retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel, and so because you also have that expertise, I want to ask you your reaction to the reporting. 1,500 troops being sent to the southern border. It could expand to 10,000 troops. As somebody who has sort of that dual perspective of an attorney, an immigration attorney, and also with your history in the Army, and by the way, thank you for your service, what are your thoughts about boosting those troops?
Well, it's going to take a lot of training. People in the Army don't sign up to be border agents. They sign up to do things like be infantry or, be a combat medic or things like that. And so they're just not trained on how to handle border issues. And it's going to take a lot of training and a lot of budget money. And Congress is going to need to come up with the money to support this. And then we're going to need just a huge amount of training for the troops.
Margaret Stock, we appreciate the conversation. Once again, for our viewers who may just be logging on, we are having this conversation while we await the results of multiple U.S. states, some U.S. cities telling Donald Trump, see you in court. Well, that court hearing is happening right now in Seattle. We should hear what happens relative to that birthright citizenship executive order very soon. Margaret, thank you so much for the conversation. We hope to have you back here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show.